Staying right here in the state of Maryland, I'm going to head on up Route 70, I-70, I believe, right on up to Frederick, Maryland, the land of covered bridges, and talk to the one and only Dr. D. Bowden in the building. Dr. D, welcome to BSN Speaker Spotlight. And if you don't mind, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, good evening, Brian. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. So I'm Dr. D. Bowden. I'm originally from the great state of Boston. I now live in the great state of Maryland. Fun facts about me: I love Ferris wheels, smooth jazz, and great wines, both red and white. I'm an author of the book called Collect the Cash, and I teach business owners the art and science of collecting the cash and stop leaving money on the table.
That is a fun fact indeed. I did not know that, and it's rare to meet people that enjoy red and white. It's normally like polarized one or the other.
Yes.
But yes, let's talk about collecting the cash because I know you did this. Tell us a little bit about how you got started in accounting, financial services, AR, whatever you want to call it, because I think that's a really interesting place to land. But most people don't realize how valuable this profession is. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got started there?
Sure thing. Great question. So what had happened was about 15 years ago, I used to work for a small IT company outside of Boston, where I'm from. I got hired because they had $8 million in outstanding receivables. I collected $6 million in 60 days while working part-time, and then the unthinkable happened. The company went out of business. Fast forward to 2020, I'm watching businesses go out of business, and I'm wondering how many of them have outstanding sales on the books, but the money isn't in the bank. And so I decided to take my expertise and create Collect the Cash and talk about why it's so important to stop leaving money on the table. The saying goes like this: collect the cash. The sale is not complete until the money's in the bank, but you must collect it first.
Yes, absolutely. Now, fun fact for you, my very first job out of college, I was working in accounts receivables for a staff and recruiting agency. And I didn't even know what we were doing until I didn't even know I was doing like 2 weeks later. I'm like, an aging, what's that? 30, 60, 90,
Yep,
but it's such an interesting industry. Now, you actually have gone on to collect, I believe, over $10 million for
I have.
companies. And you were actually recognized as a best revenue recovery specialist multiple years in a row.
Yep.
What is it about the collection process that you think entrepreneurs either don't understand or there's a misconception around?
Great question. So one of the things that entrepreneurs don't understand about collections is this: you must sales and AR go together. And here's the thing: if you were successful to land your client, you also have to be successful to land your client, deliver the product, invoice them, and then get paid. I think what happens is a lot of entrepreneurs don't like to ask their customer for their payments. But here's the thing: if you were strong enough to ask for the sale, you have to be just as strong to ask for the payment. Understand this: sales and AR go together, and like my saying is, it's collect the cash. The sale is not complete until the money's in the bank, but you absolutely must collect it first. And if that's an area that you struggle in, then you can talk to someone like me who can teach you the art and science of doing this without messing up your relationships. That's why they don't do what they do.
Perfectly said, and I can understand that. To me, AR is still one of those weird things because I don't know anywhere else where you would do all this work up front and then you actually have to do more work just to
Right.
get money that you're owed anyway. And so, but I do see that as a disconnect, particularly in larger organizations.
Yes.
So I'm really glad that you're doing this work. And
Thank
so,
you.
how will somebody know that they need to reach out to you? Like, is a particular company size? Obviously you're working with entrepreneurs, but if I was talking to somebody, how would I know to tell them like, hey, you need to talk to Dr. D. Bowden?
Great question, Brian. First thing is, if you start to hear them say, my cash flow is low. If you start to hear them talking in terms of my net 30, my net 60, my net 90 is past due, and I've had challenges getting paid from my medium-sized clients, my corporate clients, or my government agency clients, they would have them absolutely reach out to me, because a lot of times what's happening is there's a process that the invoice has gone through and then it hasn't been followed up. And unfortunately, because as a business owner, you're managing all the things, including collecting your payments. But if your payments are not coming in on time, and if you've got something that's 30 days past due, 60 days past due, 90 days past due, and you are not getting answers to the question, then you would reach out to someone like me who can come alongside and teach you the art and science of how to do this and figure out where the disconnects are. Because usually when you're not getting paid, I say it this way: we're answering the question of what had happened was, and we have to answer it through problem solving, number one, customer service, number two, the secret sauce is gratitude, and the last thing, which is the most important thing, is relationship building. Because in order to get paid, you have to build a relationship with the people who actually cut the checks.
And speaking of the people that cut the checks, most of the time you just said that the sales and the
AR.
Collections process, AR process is connected, but the people running those things are often disconnected, right? Like a salesperson isn't probably the person that's making the phone call to actually cut the check. So is
Right.
there anything about that relationship building process that you really want people to know, or that you feel like entrepreneurs that should be mindful of when it comes to actually getting or collecting the cash, let's say?
Oh, absolutely. One of the most important things you can do is when you're making calls to your clients to find out the status of your payments. Number one, the courtesy you show the person on the other end of the phone is very, very important. Number two, be prepared when you show up for the phone call. Have your invoice, have your account number, verify that you are sending your information to the right department. Number three, thank them. Gratitude. Thank them for taking your phone call, for solving your problem, and also for cutting your check. This is a relationship business. Just like you had to build a relationship to get to sale, you have to build a relationship to collect the cash. Most definitely.
Perfectly said.
Thank
All
you.
right, D, we've learned this is like a mini masterclass, and I've learned so much already, and I'm sure everyone has too. I'll end with the last question that we end with everyone. What is it that you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered as a person that specializes in problem solving, customer service, and gratitude. When you're in business and in life, you have to always solve problems. You also have to always do customer service. You also have to absolutely express gratitude. And remember this, that you're in the relationship business. Your business and your life grows to the extent that you continue to invest in yourself and build your relationships personally and professionally.
Beautifully said, Dr. Depot, and dropping knowledge. And listen, if you want to connect with her, you can absolutely do that. She's the only Dr. Depot in here in Black Speakers Network, and she can find her at blackspeakersnetwork.com/directory. Actually, fun fact, I think if you just go to the directory and type DEE, you just come right on up. That's how like specific you is. We got to change it so that if you just, did I cut out?
No.
Oh, well, we got to change it so that if you go to the speakers directory, you could just put a $sign in, and then you'll come up like that as well.
Okay, I love it.
But Dr.
Perfect. Let
D,
you cash. Perfect.
we're gonna work on it. We're gonna work.
All right, I appreciate that.
But
That'd be
Dr.
awesome.
D, thank you so much for joining, and again, thank you for being a part of the Black Speakers Network community, and we look forward to continue work with you.
Likewise. Thanks so much. Take care. Cheers.